Knows Best.
Hi, friends, and welcome back to Brenna Knows Best. I'm your host, Brenna Berg. Hi, how are you guys? Happy Monday. Hi, friends. Happy Monday. I hope you had the best weekend. It's Memorial Day, actually. When this comes out, I hope you're enjoying your day off. If you listen to this on Tuesday, because I know everybody's out of their routine, hello, hi. I have a few stories. None are write-ins. However, I noticed on my Instagram, I had 2 DMs this past week, which I don't think this has ever happened, or I just didn't see them, but 2 girls sent me Reddit stories that they saw and wanted me to talk about, and therefore I'm going to share them. So they're still Reddit stories. Both of them are from the pages that I look at, but they were submitted in. If you want to do this, please do so. You can DM me, or I would submit the link in my write-in column, because I just get frequent DMs from this, that, and the other, and I don't want to miss it if you really want me to go over it. Therefore, if you find a story that you want me to talk about, put it in my write-in submission or send it via DM. I just am not 100% sure that I'm going to see it. Okay, let's begin. I'm going to do the 2 stories that were recommended first. One of them is requiring a lot of trigger warnings. I don't even know what specific trigger warnings I can give. I just know that, well, let me look over it. I'm going to do the other one first and then we'll get into that one. Okay. Am I the asshole for throwing my boyfriend out for interrogating me when it comes to sex? Me, 19 female, and my boyfriend, 26 male, have been dating for almost 4 months. I've noticed when he tries to set the mood, and I'm not down for it at the moment, when I say no, he starts asking for the cause. Like, I'll say, I'm not really in the mood right now, and he'll be like, why not? Period. And if I say no, he'll say, UTI? And if I say no, it's another guess, like, didn't shave, and you get the point. Earlier tonight, this same thing happened. We were hanging out in my apartment, and he tried to initiate sex, but I didn't want to in the moment. I knew the guessing game was about to start, so I just said I was on my period. We went back to watching our movie, and a little later, as he was feeling on me, he mentioned that he didn't feel a pad and asked if I was wearing a tampon or what. Oh my God. The fact that this happens so frequently, she lied because she knew it was going to be this guessing game, that is just, it's annoying. It's not like the most terrible thing I've ever heard, but that is annoying as fuck. And you don't ever need a reason to not want to have sex. Okay, do you hear me? Oh my gosh. I blew up at him asking why I always need to have a reason or prove something to him, why I don't want to have sex right that moment, and told him to get out. Of course, he fought it, but he left and has been texting me saying I'm making a big deal out of nothing and that I was lying to him and he should be the one that's mad, and a whole bunch of other things. No. Here's the thing. Was it correct to lie? No, it's never okay to lie. But I get you were put in this position, but this conversation should have happened earlier. I'm not sure why I stuttered right then and there. The very first time that he said UTI, period, started trying to think of reasons why you didn't want to have sex in that moment, you should have said, do I need a reason? Like, this is a conversation that needs to be had. Now, okay, wait. At the bottom, there's an edit, but all it says is, before I go to bed, thank you everyone who has been helpful and who has opened my eyes. Also to the people saying I should have just said no, been straightforward, etc. Like I said, I've done that before and it didn't work. Oh. Okay. But then you need to have a serious conversation. Like, this happens in a lot of instances, I feel, where girls, their boyfriend does something, they try and like say their side, and then the boyfriend doesn't listen, and so on and so on. And then we just go with it. No, why are we just going with things? You sit down and you say, hey, I'm not always in the mood. Number one, maybe offer points or like things that he can do to put you in the mood that help, or like what you need. For example, me and Carter, I have explained to him, and just like in plain conversation, the later that it gets in the day, the less likely I am to want to have sex, or like, be in the mood. The closer it gets to me putting on my PJs and into bed and reading my book, I don't want to take a shower, put on my PJs, do all of my skincare, get into bed, be reading my book, and then trying to have sex. I'll do it, of course. And like, there are times, yes, of course, like, can I get in the mood? Sure. But I'm just saying, in my ideal world, and I think this is good for people to talk about with their partners, like, in my perfect world, obviously Carter works full time. It would be right when he gets home. Like, the earlier the better, but I'm not necessarily like, the morning isn't my absolute favorite. Like, ideally it would be middle of the day. Like, for example, when Carter was still in law school and studying for the bar and was home all the time, like, that was amazing. But now obviously he works 9 to 5. Hello, duh. But like, again, it's just the early morning, it's fine. And of course, like, it's never going to be your perfect setting, but I think that it's important for people to talk about with their partner, because some might think, like, I know some people that in the morning time, it's their favorite, like right when they wake up. No, I'm sorry. I need to like wake up. I need to have my caffeine. The second I'm up, I'm awake. Like, I don't want to be, I'm never oftentimes like lounging around in bed. Like, the second that I'm awake, I'm up, I'm moving, like, let's get this day started. But some people are opposite. And I just think, like, of course you and your partner might not have the same, but I think it'd be good to know what they prefer. But back to this girl story, you say, okay, I don't need a reason to not want to have sex. Right? And why do you feel like that is such an odd thing, especially, okay, she's 19 and he's 26. I don't know, maybe he's just like not that experienced or hasn't been with a lot of girls, because I feel like it's common knowledge that oftentimes in relationships, I would say, I don't know what the percentage is, but men typically, I would say, have a higher sex drive. I don't know if that's alleged. I don't know if I'm making that up, but I think that just from like my experiences and my experiences with friends and girls that I've talked to, I just think that's the way that it is. So the fact that he feels that you need a reason every single time to not want to have sex, it's like, hey, I just like might not be in the mood, and that's just that. Again, now could we teach him how to maybe set the mood? And even still, you might not be in the mood. So like, it just, I would just have to sit down with this man if I were you, if I were the girl in the story, and be like, I hate when you do that, when you say, is it this, is it this, is it this? Sometimes I'm just not in the mood, and you need to be okay with that. And if that is a big issue, if you need me to match you on sex drive, it's just not the same, and then this isn't going to work. And I've seen and heard of situations like this, and I think it's really important, which sex drive is such a weird thing, because for example, like you and I right now, I could think that like if somebody says we have a lot of sex, to you, that could mean 3 times a day. Like, we all interpret sex drive differently, right? Or just like amounts of sex. Like, somebody could say that we have sex all the time, and to you, that's 3 times a day. And to me, it's, it could be 3 times a week. Like, what is a lot? So like, we all have like these different definitions of things, but I do know that it is important. Like, I've heard so many times where it's like, again, I think something also that needs to be said, this relationship is like only 4 months long, but in long-term relationships, I know that like amongst my friends and me, the amount of times like a week or a month you have sex, I feel like it just ebbs and flows. Like, I feel like some people go through periods where they're not, and then they are. Like, I think that's so normal naturally, because we live lives of human beings. Bitch, what? We live lives as human beings. And like, if you're really busy with work, your sex drive might be down, or you started a medication, or you're on your period, or you're going through a weird thing with your cycle, or you're going through this, you got an injury. Like, there are so many things we're going through, and that's going to affect our sex drive. But I do know that it's important that you just communicate on it. Now, if like your partner has an insane sex drive and you just straight up don't, that could be a big problem. And if somebody needs a lot of sex, like, you kind of need to be compatible in that aspect. I think now this would probably be a good conversation for people to have with a therapist, because I don't know what I'm actually talking about, but like that is a compatibility thing. Like if your partner just like wants it all the time and you just straight up are never in the mood, either you're gonna do it for that person and resent them, or you're not. They're gonna resent you. And like, again, we all on a scale like weigh these things differently. Like they mean different. Some people don't really care that much and some people do, but it just matters that you're on the same page and you talk about it. But this is fucking crazy. If Carter every time, which I would say honestly, I never turn him down. I feel like I'm the one asking. Anywho, if I turned Carter down and he was like, oh, you're on your period? Oh, UTI. Like there had to be a reason other than the fact that I just don't want to right now. I would lose my actual mind. Okay, next. This next story is the one that was submitted with the trigger warnings. I would say like maybe sexual content, like graphic death, or like deceased people. I'm not really sure the trigger warnings to give, but like, hello, trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. If you're just a person who's like scared of things, please just skip to the next story. But this is fucking crazy. Me, 24 female, found out a horrible secret about my fiance, 27 male. How do I confront him? I am not sure if this is allowed within the sub. If it isn't, please let me know. It is quite touchy and I'm not even sure how to word it, but I would like to know how to proceed with this. I need to confront him. We have been together for 3 years and a half. Everything has been great. In fact, I would say the healthiest relationship I've ever had. He's been caring and sweet, just a little introverted. We've never had any serious arguments at all. But around 2 days ago, he fell asleep with his phone on. He has it set to never lock. So I decided to take a peek, not really expecting to find anything, but now I feel really stupid for it. Big trigger warning. Quick edit, since I didn't make myself clear enough, these titles and some of the images are explicitly sexual in nature. The ones he wrote as well. If it were only fascination, I could easily understand, but that's the part that has me shocked and confused. I found that he collects videos and pictures of dead bodies, men and women. He even has several playlists on YouTube ranging from funerals to autopsies. They are perfectly organized. None of it is over the top violent, but it's all post-mortem. I am talking about hundreds of these photos and videos. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? They are engaged and you are just coming across these kinds of things on his phone. I cannot imagine what that felt like. Okay, let me just keep going. At first, I tried to blame it on his grief and the fact that he suffered way too many losses, nearly his entire family. However, these albums and playlists have titles with very inappropriate undertones. And then I also found he bookmarked 2 pages, both of which display pictures and stories of deceased people. Again, with a very obviously sexual/romantic intent, and even explicitly so for the stories. I am struggling to remember exactly what I saw because I was in shock. But think of these titles being kind of like dead beauties/hotties. He has never been violent or expressed any kind of sadism towards me or anyone else that I know of. He has spoken before about how he finds funerals and death to be quite peaceful and something he finds beauty in. But I never saw this as strange considering what he's been through. Now I'm not sure what he meant by that. I'm honestly upset, but I haven't been able to really gather the courage to confront him about this. I mean, I'm so confused. I never saw anything like this before. If anyone could offer me any guidance on how to bring this up to him, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. I'm not sure if this is even something that you have a conversation about, because what do you expect him to say? If I were the girl in this scenario, I think I would get the fuck out of there. If you live together, I would one day when he's at work move all of my stuff and not necessarily ghost because they are engaged, but tell him, send a text, maybe call him and say, this is it, but make sure you're in a safe place. Maybe file a police report, because like, is this legal? That cannot be okay. What the actual fuck? Yeah, I don't like, there is no way in my mind that you come back from that. Like, what would you expect him to say that makes that okay or normal? I don't know what that's called. I don't know the technicalities or like the terms, but I don't think it's okay. I would personally, like, if this were me and Carter, I would, yes, while he's at work, I would obviously figure out the logistics of moving or just like grabbing my necessities, going to a friend's house or going to a family member's, and then cutting things off and being done. Because what are we talking about? What are we actually talking about? I'm afraid that I am like very ignorant and very ignorance is bliss. Like, I don't oftentimes believe that like these things happen. Like, this is the craziest thing that I've ever heard. Oh my gosh, can you imagine you see those things on your partner's phone? That is absolutely insane. That is my advice. Like, what would you possibly sit him down and say? I mean, if you really want to go that route, I would say, hey, I, snooped through your phone, which is like not a fun thing to bring up, and saw this, that, and the other. Can you explain yourself? Is this research? What the fuck is this? What actually is this? I would just never do that. I would just get out however I could and then end the relationship, because clearly there is something very wrong with him. Like, that is not normal behavior. I know that people, like, somebody said in the comments that this is like a death fetish, which, like, I know people, say not to kink shame, but there are things that like I hear about and I'm like, that is just like not a normal thing to like think or want. And I don't want to be with a partner who like does these things or like thinks these things or even compiled all of that information. I don't know. That would be so crazy. Like, you've had this really healthy, really normal relationship, and then or you see that there's this different side of him. That's also concerning. That also leads me to believe, and again, I can't diagnose anybody, but there's like a mental health issue happening, because the fact that you knew nothing of this, he has different, not personalities maybe per se, but like that's almost like a double life in a different way. Like, the fact that he enjoys these things and you had no idea, that's also scary. And I feel like that's also lying. Like, that to me is like a man's secret. I mean, it's like way worse actually than a man secretly watching porn. Like, it's the same thing. It's like if you were to find out that your partner behind your back, you had no idea, was like subscribed to OnlyFans or like paying for OnlyFans and watching porn and all of this stuff, that is like so heartbreaking, the nature of the thing, but it's also the fact that you had no idea and they were doing all of these things. That's similar. Like, when is this man going on and like looking at these or like reading these things or like gathering? Ooh, yeah, you get the fuck out of that relationship, and that's the only answer. Okay, next. Okay, now on to something a little bit more lighthearted. We're going to talk about inheritance. You know me, I love to talk about money. Am I the asshole for not splitting the inheritance with my siblings after finding out I was the only one who didn't screw over our dad? My dad died about 6 months ago. That is so sad. I'm 29 female, the youngest of 4. My older siblings are 35 35 female, 37 male, and 40 female. We weren't a super close family, especially with my dad. He was strict, cold, kind of hard to be around. But in the last few years, I was the only one who stayed in touch with him. I'd check in, help out with errands, sit with him during appointments, that kind of thing. The rest of my siblings, on the other hand, gradually drifted off. I figured they just had their reasons and never pushed it. I thought we were all on decent enough terms. When he passed, I was shocked to learn he'd left everything to me. The house, the car, and around $300,000 in savings. The will was updated a year before he died, and it's completely legal. I didn't ask for that. I didn't expect it. Honestly, I thought we'd all get an equal share. If that happened to me, I would be woohoo! Oh my gosh, that's crazy. You have 3 other siblings and everything was up to you. That is actually, I can imagine how nasty that's going to be. I only have a few stories revolving around inheritance, and this all kind of just got brought to my attention in recent years. Number 1, my stepfather passed in 2021, I think. 2021, September. It was 9/11 actually. But he had, I think, 3 kids in a previous marriage. I never met these people. If I did, I met them one time. And this was the man who was married to my mother for 20 years, since I was 5 years old, and he just passed in 2021. So from when I was 5 to like 24, I believe, 23, it doesn't matter. My mother is obviously married to him and had been for 20 years, and everything just kind of passes over to her because his will didn't state otherwise. His kids came freaking the fuck out to my mother. They wanted this, they wanted that, they wanted the other, and they were not close with him. You guys, I saw my mom very often when I was a kid. My dad had primary custody, but I did see my mother, I think it was 50-50. However, I was with my dad, I slept at his house, if you get what I'm saying. But every day after school, I went to my mom's, and then every weekend was switched until I obviously could drive and decide on my own. But I still kind of followed that pattern because it just had been the pattern. Therefore, my stepdad was there every time I'm with my mom. Yeah. Okay, I never met his children in the 20 years that I was there and lived back at home. I never met them. They never came. I think he went to see them a couple of times, and I'm not here to speculate because I obviously didn't love the man. He was an alcoholic. I can imagine for his kids that they had a weird relationship with him, but the way they came crawling to my mother wanting this, that, and the other, and that, and money, and this, and that, and the other. What the fuck? I get it. Kind of, not really. For example, I know that my family isn't well-to-do. I'm sure they do just fine, but I'm not expecting anything. If I didn't get anything when they pass, I'm not banking on that. I'm not thinking about that, if you catch my drift. And also, whatever I get, if let's say my dad tragically passed and now the house, goes to me and my brother, we would sell the house and just split it 50-50. Thank God me and my brother are on good terms and we're both normal human beings, and think that he is the same exact way as me. I don't think he's probably expecting anything or has ever thought about it. I have quite literally never thought about it. Now, with Carter's family, for example, they, money has kind of come down the line. I would say his grandfather made his priority. No, what am I saying? Primary wealth. I don't know per se if he got money from his parents. I don't know if they were well off. I just know that Carter's grandpa and all of his siblings are wildly successful in their own right. Literally, they need to do a documentary on these people. It's insane. But Carter's grandpa did real estate development in Los Angeles or in Orange County or California, whatever. And he did very well for himself. And there have been a lot of these conversations about inheritance and getting passed down and this, that, and the other. And we have these conversations with his parents. It has nothing to do with us, obviously, because it's going to go to his parents. But I've never thought about these things because, again, I don't think that way. Like, I think about my parents passing. That's going to be heartbreaking and sad. I don't go straight to like inheritance. Like, what am I going to get? But people get so fucking nasty when it comes to inheritance. And the fact that this girl got everything. You have 3 siblings. Yeah, that would be so bad. But again, here's the thing. If it was in the will, that is a legal matter. It's not up to her. Like, I haven't read the rest of the story, but if that came to you, that came to you. You don't owe them anything. And I would go as far to say that was in your father's will. He wanted you to get everything. If you go and give your siblings money, that would go against his wishes. I'm just saying, that's what I would say. But let's keep going. The day after the funeral, my siblings sat me down and just assumed I'd divide everything 4 ways. No! What the... Ow! Y'all, our father let this money go right to me. He explicitly put in his will a year before he died that everything goes to Monica. That is so wild that they would even think that you would split that with them. Like, it is just as much of a shock. The day after a funeral, like, this all just happened. You probably just learned about this. Oh my gosh, this is so juicy. I told them I wasn't going to. That's when the drama started. Turns out they hadn't just drifted. They had all pulled some shady stuff with my dad over the years. One borrowed money and ghosted him. One tried to get him to co-sign a loan and went no contact when he refused. And one literally forged his signature on an insurance thing. I had no idea, but apparently my dad did. Even if they didn't do these things, he gave his money to you. Legally, that money goes to you and you don't owe them shit. And that is crazy that they come to you and want that money. It's not crazy because people are fucking greedy and I get it. But like, that is that. Oh my gosh. But then, how did you find this out? Because surely they wouldn't be admitting that they did all of these horrible things to your dad. What, did they want sympathy? Like, I was already headstrong in the fact that you shouldn't give them your money, but then also they did all of these shady things to your dad. Wait, have I told you guys? I'm really just like spilling the family tea. My grandmother, who's like 91 years old, like my mother has 10 siblings. And I think there have been a few, or maybe some of my cousins that have borrowed money from my literal 91-year-old grandmother and never returned it. Like, they borrowed it. Anywho, it's not that shocking because they're all a bunch of like country folk, right? Like, this isn't alarming to me, but I've learned because my mom, like, typically she would get, let's say, $250 for Christmas from my grandmother. When you think about that though, she has 11 kids. Like, she is not well to do. They live on a farm. My grandmother lives on the same farm that my mom was raised in. Okay, she still lives there. So my grandmother has been there for like 70 years. It is a farm. They have cattle, they have chickens, they have sheep. But like, it's not a huge farm. I don't know how much money they made. Of course, my grandfather, he went to war. He was in the Korean War and then he was a farmer. I think they made enough money to get by, but like, that is it. Like, the house is not a nice house. It's never been renovated. It is the literal same house. I'm sure it's been paid off for forever. I should honestly look on Zillow. Wait, can I actually? Oh my gosh, I never thought about looking it up on Zillow if it says how much the property is worth. Can do, North Dakota. Isn't that funny? Can do. My mom has like yearbooks and the school quote, or maybe the town quote, this town has 800 people, you guys, is there's nothing you can't do in Can Do. Quite literally, there ain't fuck that you can do. There's nothing you can do in Can Do. It's a town of 800 people. They have a gas station and old folks home. Like, what are you talking about? There's nothing that you can't do in Can Do. I have no idea what her address is, but if I can find the Dairy Queen, I think I would be able to figure out how to get there. Damn. Anyways, I can't seem to find it. The house like price is not listed because they literally bought that in probably 1950. I think, oh wait, no, my grandmother was born in 1934. Holy shit. Yeah, I guess 1950s. There's no info. But anyways, she has no money. Like, they never made that much money. But everybody would get, or I imagine everybody would get $250, or the kids. I always got like $5. But again, I have like 100 cousins. Obviously, there's 11 of my mother, like 11 siblings. Therefore, I have like, I think there are maybe 30 of us cousins, and now there are more great grandchildren. Like, my grandmother has, I think, like 30 grandchildren and like 35 great grandchildren. I am so sorry. What the fuck are we talking about? But last Christmas, my mom told me that she got $2,500 and not $250, and therefore she called her mom. I think I might have told you this. She called my grandmother because, again, she's 91, and she's like, Mom, did you accidentally put like an extra zero on here? Because that could easily happen. And that's when it came out that some other people had taken money from her and never gave it back. So some of my aunts and uncles are now helping her equal it out. Therefore, all of the kids get the same. So the people that borrowed the money only got the $250 or whatever, or maybe $0. And now she's giving the other kids more to like even it out or equal it out. Fucking crazy. But anyways, let me keep going with the story. I'm sorry that I make everything about me. He never said anything to me about it. He just changed his will and left everything to me, the one who stuck around and didn't lie to him. Now they're calling me selfish and manipulative, saying he wasn't in his right mind. He absolutely was sharp until the end. One of them hinted at legal action, but dropped it once they saw the paperwork. I haven't touched the money yet. Part of me feels guilty. Another part of me feels like this is the one time he actually showed he saw me, and I don't want to undo that. I want to mention that I didn't have a bad relationship with my siblings. We were all right, but I found out what they did to our dad, and it just broke my heart. Am I the asshole? No, you are not the asshole. That was your grandfather's or your father's wishes. He was the one who set the will for you to get everything. And here is the unfortunate part. This will ruin your relationship with your siblings, but that is not your fault. It is their own fault. But they are going to be so upset and so angry and so greedy for the rest of their life, and they will never let it go that this happened. And that is something, I'm not saying that you bend over or you just bow down to them and give them money. Absolutely not. But that is crazy. Like, if I got all of my dad's money, let's say, and my brother was like, what the fuck? But here's the thing. That just would never happen because me and my brother are the exact same. We've treated our parents the exact same, and I just cannot even imagine. But like, let's say in a different universe, or let's say my brother got everything, but like, that's also wild of me to go to him and be like, give me that money. Like, when my dad explicitly put in his will that it was not for me. But like, naturally that is just going to cause friction. It already has, but I don't think that she should give up that money. It is his last dying wish. He put that in his will, and that is that. I say that you hold on to the money and you keep it moving. Okay, next. Oh, this one is a little bit creepy crawly. Okay. My brother-in-law crossed the line while my husband is deployed. My husband, 28 male, and I, 27 female, have been married for a little over a year now. He's currently deployed overseas with the military, and we recently found out right before he left that I'm expecting our first child. Oh my gosh. Number one, thank you. God bless you to the man serving overseas and to every man serving overseas. But second, that would be so hard going through a pregnancy with your partner literally overseas. I cannot imagine. It was bittersweet timing, but he was overjoyed, and so was I. Last week, I shared the news with our families, and the response was overwhelmingly positive. Everyone was excited, especially his younger brother, 25 male, who's always been a bit too friendly, but nothing I couldn't chalk up to personality. That changed this morning. I woke up to a message from him saying he understands how emotionally draining pregnancy can be, and that sometimes intimacy becomes rare or non-existent. He then said blatantly that he's available if I need comfort emotionally or physically while my husband is away. He even made a comment about how no one has to know. Ow! What? That is being said by your husband's brother. Not even a friend, not even a slimy, shady mother trucker of a friend. His literal brother? What? That is not normal behavior. Again, I hate when people go online and diagnose people, but like for you to go and text your brother's wife saying that if she needs comfort emotionally or physically, that he is there. Oh my God, I cannot. What the fuck? Carter has a brother. I hate to always make it like, again, I always just think about myself in this scenario. I have to put myself in the shoes. Carter's younger brother texted me and said, I am so sorry. I'm ruining every single holiday from here on out. I never want to see your face again. I'm not going to family things anymore. Like, what? Oh my gosh. Do you tell your husband? Okay, let's keep going. I'm furious, disturbed, and honestly at a loss. I have zero interest in anyone except my husband, who is the love of my life. But now I'm stuck wondering how to handle this without tearing a hole in their family. My husband and his brother are extremely close? What do you mean? Then how did he say that? They grew up together through some tough times and have always leaned on each other. His brother was even the best man at our wedding. My husband would be heartbroken and enraged if he found out what was said. But at the same time, this is a massive betrayal. His brother isn't just disrespecting our marriage, he's undermining my husband's role as a father and partner during a time when we're supposed to be building our future. I keep thinking, do I tell my husband now while he's deployed and can't really do anything except stew in anger from afar? Or do I wait until he's home, knowing that delaying might look like I was hiding it? If I don't say anything at all, his brother stays in his life like nothing happened, and that makes my skin crawl. What if he tries this again or with someone else? What if he's done it before? My loyalty is to my husband and our baby, but no matter what I choose, someone is going to be deeply hurt. There is no clean way out of this. I just want to do what's right for my marriage, my child, and myself. How do I expose a betrayal that could wreck a lifelong bond without causing unnecessary damage? Here is the thing. It is not your damage that you are doing. It is the brother's. He is the one in the wrong. And I think that you and your husband are a team. You are a partnership. And even though it's unfortunate that he is away right now, you have to tell him now, because it just happened. There is no good that comes from keeping secrets. And if I were him, I would want to know. And unfortunately, all he can do is probably call his brother and ream him from afar, but at least he can put him in his place, hopefully. And also, like, you being uncomfortable and however you're feeling after this, like, your husband needs to know that, because that is not your burden to carry. Like, that is something that you should share and let him know. That way he can be there to support you, because he is far away. And also, not that your husband would ever think that you would do anything with his brother. I think it's important that he knows now that this happened instead of later, and could like even have a shadow of a doubt that you would never do that, obviously. But holy fuck, that just makes everything so disgusting and weird. But if he is doing this to you or said those things to you, the odds of him doing it in the past, like, I get they are close and they are brothers, but he needs to know. There's no good that comes from keeping this from your husband forever or until he gets back. I think the right thing to do is to tell him now. But I do want to make one thing clear. We talk about this every single week. You are not the one blowing up the family. Your brother-in-law is the one who did that. Like, there is not an ounce of shame or guilt that you should feel. It is disgusting that he even said that in the first place and then put that on you and is making you feel like now you're the one who's going to cause the problems, because that is crazy fucking behavior from the brother, period. But if anybody's going to turn this on you and say that you didn't need to tell your husband, that is a crazy talk, because there is not a single secret that you should keep from your husband, especially when it's something like this. Like, these are the things that you have to tell your husband. Now, it is really unfortunate, and I understand like the wanting to wait, therefore he's not just stewing overseas, but again, I don't think there's anything good that comes from that. It's unfortunate again, and it is really annoying because now your husband is over there probably going to be freaking out that his brother did this in the first place. But that again is something that his brother did to him, not you. Okay, am I making that clear? Next, last but certainly not least, and I thought this would be like a really good conversation to have because I feel like this happens a lot in relationships. Am I the asshole for wanting to accept a promotion even though my boyfriend says it's not the kind of life he wants? I, 25 female, just got offered a pretty huge promotion at work from being a coordinator for one business unit to becoming a global coordinator. It's a big jump, both in responsibilities and salary. I've been promoted every year since I started here. It's been 3 years, and this role is honestly something I never thought I'd reach this soon. It would be a big deal financially and career-wise. The only catch is that it involves some travel. The company is actually trying to reduce travel costs so it wouldn't be constant. We have 4 business units in different parts of the world: North America, Europe, Asia, and South America, and I'd probably go to each once a year for about a week each. So in total, like 4 weeks a year. My boyfriend, 32 male, is not really okay with that. He didn't give me a direct ultimatum, but when I brought it up again after he already told me how he feels, he basically said that if I keep pushing for something he's clearly not comfortable with, then I must know what I truly want and that I should pack my bags and leave. It really hurt to hear that. I get where he's coming from though. He wants a stable life, someone more family focused, and he's been upfront about that since the beginning. But so have I about not wanting kids until 30. Okay, she's 25 and he's 32. It is just the biggest red flag of all time. A man trying to not have you do something. For example, my boyfriend before Carter, when he tried to give me the ultimatum about my fucking TikTok, let's be so fucking for real. It's not even so much about the thing, because his concerns are valid. I understand. And it's not wrong of him to want those things. For example, though, nanny mom and nanny dad, nanny mom traveled internationally about this same amount, if not more. She had to go to London. She went to Brazil, all of this, which again, you need to be on the same page. Obviously, nanny dad didn't give a fuck and the kids are older, but like they were both working parents in Manhattan. They had a live-in nanny. And this is something, number one, I think it's crazy that you're only 25 and he's trying to stop you from such a great opportunity and salary and career opportunity. That's fucked and not a good supportive partner. But even if I went along with his logic, I think you guys need to just then get on the same page about the kid situation and lifestyle goals, because that could become a huge issue. But for right now, like, let's say you want to be a mom at 30 and be a stay-at-home mom, amazing. But like, you can do this job right now. Like, I can never imagine, like, that's like if Carter came to me and got a job opportunity, but he'd be traveling a lot, I would always support that. Like, if that would be good for him and good for us financially, I'm going to support that. Even if I want him home, even if I wish he didn't travel, I would never keep him from something that would be good for his career and our family. And that's the other thing. You also getting a raise is good for both of you. I don't like the control factor. I don't like when a partner tells you that you cannot do something. And the fact that he said to pack your bags would be enough for me to pack my bags, regardless if I took that job or not. I 100% would take the job. Hopefully you could work it out. But if not, this guy is just like dead weight. honestly, but there's more to this, so I'm going to keep going. The thing is, I've started to care more about those values too since being with him, but at the same time, I've always dreamed of having a successful career. I've worked my ass off for this, and honestly, if teenage me could see where I could head towards now, doing work I love, getting recognition, making good money, and even getting to travel, she'd be amazed by the opportunity. I don't want to choose between love and ambition. I really care about him and I don't want to lose what we have, but I also don't want to say no to something I've wanted for so long and spend years wondering, what if? Am I the asshole for wanting both? No. But here is a conversation that is often had on TikTok, the, career boss woman girl and a family and so on and so forth. I think it can be both, but that is if your partner is supportive. And I think it'd be so stupid to turn this down if it's going to help you level up in your career and financially. Like, any promotion is amazing. And you get to travel. Like, that is also, I understand you work when you travel. No fuck. But that is a huge perk and that is amazing. And I think this is just going to require a lot of hard conversations about a lot of things, about kids, about your age, about where this relationship is going. It's awfully bold of a boyfriend to say you can or cannot do something. And again, his boundaries are not incorrect. Okay, let me make that clear. I don't always want to make the guys out to be bad guys. Like, he can have his boundaries, but then that is that. I still think the career is way more worth it. And then you could find a partner who is in support of that and wants kids and allows you to do both. Like, if it's just a conversation about family or career, that is up for you to decide and then for you to find a partner in support of that. Because there are so many men, like Carter and I talk about, which obviously I know social media is not a traditional job, but he absolutely loves, like, it is the perfect thing. He's like, what does he always say? You're the perfect modern woman. Like, because Carter is more traditional. And again, his mom was a stay-at-home mom. All the people he knows were stay-at-home moms. And that's what he always thought for himself. But he also does love the idea of me working. Like, again, he's not saying I can or cannot do anything, right? If I wanted to work, he would allow that. Right. And it's not like, that's also weird verbiage. Like, there aren't things in my relationship that we're allowed to do. Like, I'm not allowing Carter to do anything and he's not allowing me to do anything else. But like, these things are a conversation. If I were to come to him and say, I'm taking on a job, so I'm going to be working 9 to 5, like, it is a conversation that we both like just talk about the pros and the cons and come to a decision together. But it's not he's allowing me or not allowing me. And I would argue that if you're having those kinds of conversations, that's a little bit scary. But there are men that want a working wife and there are men that want to stay at home mom. And again, I don't think either of those is wrong. And I know that people try and like say things online and it's this or it's that and it's that and it's this. Nope. We all have our own ideas of what we want our lives to look like. Some women want to be stay-at-home moms and some women want to be career women. Neither of those is wrong. Right? But then you have to find the partner that's in support of whatever that is that you want to do, whichever, because there is somebody out there that does want a working, ambitious woman. Right? Like, that is just that. But she had some edits. I'm going to read these off. First of all, thank you so much to everyone who took a few minutes of their lives to share their thoughts with me. I know I ask strangers on the internet for advice, but I often feel overwhelmed and stuck in my own head. And your objective perspectives really help bring some clarity. I'm sorry I couldn't reply and keep up with all the messages. I tried to talk to him and find some kind of middle ground. I explained that it is only 4 weeks per year abroad and that I already spoke to my manager to make sure the traveling will not exceed 10% of my working time. But now it seems like that is not enough either. He is starting to bring up other issues, not just the traveling. He does not like that I might need to adjust my working hours to match other time zones. While that is partially true, I would still only work 8 hours a day, just maybe on a different schedule once a week. He is also worried about the people I might meet. especially the men. He does not like the idea of me going to dinners with clients or sleeping in hotel rooms alone because he might not be able to join me on each work trip. Also, he told me he won't accept me going on dinners while he waits for me in the hotel room. Holy fuck, this guy has a control issue. You get the fuck out of here. This is so much bigger than your job. This is like, which your job is like quite literally the most important thing in your life. No offense, besides your relationship. This is way more than that. It was already kind of fucked up, but now it's really fucked. He does not like me talking to coworkers during breaks, which is why he insists I call him on every break I get. He gets annoyed if I do not reply to his text right away or if it takes me 30 minutes to answer. This is a 32-year-old man. He's insecure. He has no confidence. And this is 100% a control issue. He makes you call him on every break. No, honey. This is so much more. It was already, again, like the writing was on the wall. Oh my gosh. He wants me to send him my calendar daily so he knows exactly when I have meetings. And if I do not let him know about every single work-related conversation with men, whether it is with coworkers, suppliers, or trainers, he gets upset and says I'm hiding things. He has very strong boundaries when it comes to my work. No becoming friends with male coworkers, which I accepted without issues because anyways, I don't socialize at work at all. No casual funny tone in messages or emails, no emojis, no hanging out after work, no sharing personal numbers with male colleagues unless he agrees with it. 2 weeks ago, I went to a 3-day training in another city. I had to commute 4 hours every day because he did not want me to sleep at a hotel. On the last day, one of the participants suggested making a group chat so we could keep in touch professionally. I forgot to mention it right away, and when I told him the next day, he got mad and made me get up at 1 a.m. to show him the chat. Oh my God. It is so sad because when you're in this type of relationship, you just become so accustomed to it and it becomes so normal and you think that that's normal behavior. That is not normal behavior. And anybody listening is like, what? But we've all been in a scenario where we're like asked to do certain things and you're like, I love this person, I'll do that. And to some extent, I agree. Like you don't need to message coworkers personally. Like do I say to Carter, you cannot have female friendships at work? No, right? And like there are girls that he has texted from work because naturally they work together and work on things and like that's normal, right? Like there, of course, I get having boundaries and I get like, but that's something that your partner, like you can trust them. Like I trust Carter with 100%. So I know that there would never be any inappropriate behavior. Therefore, I don't monitor my boyfriend or my fiance. Sorry. My fiance, right? Like he has issues that he clearly needs to work through. He is just very jealous when it comes to my professional life. All this because before I met him, one of my coworkers, a man, became a good friend. I had to cut contact and block that person once we got together. But I have never given him any reason to doubt me. Sometimes I feel like giving up everything and just getting a basic job, like working in a supermarket. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I mean quitting the career I love just so he will finally stop trying to control me. But then I remember how much I love what I do and how lucky I am to have found something I'm passionate about. Absolutely not. Number one, again, can I make this clear? This is your boyfriend, which I'm not saying it's okay if it's a fiance or a husband, but like this is literally a boyfriend who you could just break up with. Like I get it. You love him and maybe you've talked about family and life and career, but this behavior is a little bit psycho, if I do say so myself, and not okay. And it's a job. And if he like, can you imagine having kids with this man and he is jealous of like what happens when you go to school events and your kids are in sports and like you talk to the parents? Are you not allowed to talk to the men? Like that is just so crazy. Again, when you're in a healthy, normal relationship like me and Carter, like there is no reason to not trust your partner. And unfortunately, I get it. There are women out there that have been in relationships with 100% trust and then their partner went and cheated. I get that that happens or does something that's like not okay. But there is no reason to be in a relationship if you are constantly like worried and jealous and insecure and need your partner to call you every break. Like, what are we talking about? And he's 32. What the fuck does he do? Does he not have a life? Does he not have a job? I think he needs to focus on himself, and then he wouldn't be so worried with you. But if this were me, you break up with the boyfriend, or you get very clear that he needs therapy to work on these things, because that is not normal. And unfortunately, that's a hard conversation, and he's going to, see it as an attack. But like, that is crazy. And him being worried about you going on trips, like, this is so much deeper than, and like, all of that aside, even if he wasn't a psychopath about the male colleagues and this, that, and the other, and like staying at a hotel, I will say, like, Carter gets worried about me, like a hotel or like being alone by myself, even in our own apartment, like when he leaves, in a safety sense, because he's very paranoid about safety, but like he never like controls what I do or says I can't do something or what have you. Like, that I can understand being a little bit, but that would never be a reason. Like, again, if I started traveling a lot for work, like, Carter, what do you mean? He's not gonna be like, you can't go. When I went on my trip, obviously it's different. It's a brand trip. It's all girls, but like, he was so freaking excited for me, and he was like, you deserve this, and like was nothing but a supportive partner. And he was so excited for me to go on more. But like, what are we talking about? You either first you sit down with this boyfriend and get clear on expectations, and I would just straight out be like, this is not normal, and you worrying about this, I am happy to set your mind at ease. I've never done anything. I don't have these relationships. I'm so professional. It's why you're getting promoted. Like, not why you're getting promoted, but like, clearly you are very good at your job. You're very professional. You get shit done. Like, I am so confused what we're even talking about right now. But anywho, you have a conversation. And for any girls in this predicament where you feel like your partner is like being really controlling, and whether it's about job or school or who you hang out with or who you see, the number one thing you need in a relationship is obviously communication, but trust. Like, that is just no way to live for either party. Like, I have been the insecure person when I was way younger, and when you're constantly worrying, like, I feel bad for him that he clearly has been like hurt in the past or wherever that comes from, but like, that is not his burden to then put on you. You know what I mean? And y'all need to get clear on that. And if he does not see it as a problem, he thinks his behavior is normal, I would highly consider getting out of the relationship, because it's not going to get better if he's not actively willing to work on his like insecurities and like jealousy issues. This is going to persist your whole life. And how does this manifest in the future, right? Like, what other opportunities will you get that you have to say no to because of your insecure partner? Like, that is just no way to live. I would go as far to say maybe break up with him already. Like, my first initial reaction is to say break up with this man, because that's not okay. But I obviously want people to work through things, and if you really love them and care about them, hopefully this is something that he will see as like the wake up call, and he can get better, and y'all can be happy, and he can trust you and support you. But his initial inclination to just shut that down, and like a great opportunity comes for you and he doesn't want you to take it, that is like not okay. Your partner should be your biggest supporter in every single aspect. Not to say that collisions are going to happen. Of course, like, again, if you're a stay-at-home mom, but let's say you get a crazy opportunity, but your partner wanted you to be a stay-at-home mom, but now you want to do this. Like, we are humans. We also change all the time. You could take this job and then end up not really liking it and then figuring something else out. But I think that when you get opportunities that you really want to take, you have to take them, because the regret of not doing it is always going to be bigger than you taking it. Either it's amazing or it's not what you expected, but then you can do something else and at least you tried. Like, it's a salary bump, the travel, like the, chance to put that on your resume is also like, the career building aspect of it is phenomenal, and you have to take it. Therefore, you have to either get your partner on board or you have to leave. Those are the options. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a great week. I will see you on Friday. Okay. Bye, guys.